Hey everybody, it's everybody's favorite time of the month. That's right, market statistics time. These market statistics are for the Dayton Metro area for June 2023. If you've actually downloaded the reports to follow along here, which you can do via the link down below, available on our website, you might be asking yourself, why are these stats for June 2023 when the report says May 2023? So basically, we take an entire month of sales data, compile all of that together into one report, and then we compare that to the previous year at the same month. So we're really comparing year over year, not month to month. So we're comparing May 2023 stats to May 2022 stats. Reason why we do that is because the year has a natural ebb and flow to the real estate cycle. And so basically, for example, whenever the school year is ending, not a lot happening usually. Beginning of the school year, things are kind of quiet. And also over the winter time. So December, January are historically low months. So if you're comparing, say, June numbers to July numbers, there's going to be a little bit out of whack. Just because of just that natural ebb and flow. So comparing year over year gives us a little bit better picture of what's going on. Obviously, there's been a lot going on in the real estate market recently, so I do actually pay attention to month. Typically, if you go back to, 3-4 years ago to my videos I was doing then, you'll see I never really talked too much about month to month because everything was pretty steady. But nowadays, yes, I do take a look at month to month because things are changing that rapidly. Overall trend has been, we had a peak of the market in June, July. Things got really quiet from about August to February 2023 as basically all the buyers left. Demand dropped, interest rates came up to 6-7%, and things got really quiet. But the change has been since March 2023, demand has come back and the market has shifted. Now, if you remember back to your math class back in the day, you might remember median and averages. Average home price is basically you take the total number of homes that have sold, you add up the price that all those sold for, and you divide it by the total number of homes sold. That'll give you the average. Median sales price is a little different though. Median sales price is where basically the midpoint of the market where there is an equal number of more expensive homes and less expensive homes. So it is more of the true midpoint of a market in a general area. I usually lean more towards the median home price. It is less affected by outliers. Like if a few really expensive houses sell, it can put a major pull on the average sales price. So the average sales price tends to swing more than the median sales price. But like I said, market's been a little wild recently, so the median sales price has been moving significantly as well. So these statistics are for the larger Dayton Metro area, and they are from May 2023. Total number of closed sales was down 17.9% from 1,572 to 1,290. Median sales price was up 2.7% from $219,168 to $225,000. Average sales price was down, quote unquote, 0.5% from $259,760 to $258,480. Total dollar volume was down 18.3% from $408 million to $333 million. Median percent of original asking price. So what this is whenever a house gets listed for sale, that initial asking price, what percentage of that asking price does the house eventually sell for? That was down 0.5% from 105%, meaning that basically most things were selling for above asking price, to 100%. Now, that doesn't mean that every house is going to sell at asking price. It just means that basically the midpoint of the market is that things are basically still going for asking price. Median time to contract has held steady at 41 days. We haven't had too big of a shift there. So if you look at the report here, you will see there's a pretty even trend. And basically over the winter time to contract rises. So January and February was at 53 days and we're back down to 41 days now. That to me, that's probably more of a just general market condition thing and not indicative of a change in, market forces, I guess you could say. Total number of new listings was down 27.1% from 2,060 homes listed for sale to 1,501. And total active inventory, which is the number of homes for sale at the end of the month, was at 1,002. So we are actually kind of chewing through a bit of inventory there. And you can see that because depends on how you slice it actually. So there was 1,500 new listings. There was 1,300 closed sales, but there's only 1,002 active listings on the market at the end of the month there. Total number of foreclosures, nothing too crazy going on here. Foreclosures are up 57.1% from 7 to 11, and short sales, there basically were not any short sales on the MLS last month. Now, I do like to dive into the different price points because a $1 million house sells on a little bit different time frames than a $200,000 house. And the reason why is because the buyer pool, there's a few more people that can buy a $200,000 house than a $1 million house. Generally speaking though, there have been fewer closed sales across all price points. 100,000 to 150,000 was down 13.3%, total of 195. 150 to 200,000 was down 26.5%, total of 233. 200 to 250,000 was down 16.5%, total of 167. 250 to 300,000 was down 13.7%, total of 145. 300 to 400,000 was down 16.3%, total of 210. 400 to 600,000 was down 22.7%, total of 153. And 600 to a million was down 7.5%, total of 49. Oh, and 1 million or more was down 83.3% to one closed transaction in May. Total number of new listings, again, down across the board, which is expected with that significant reduction in the number of new listings compared to last year. So $100,000 to $150,000 was down 28.7% to 216. 200 to 250,000 was down 24.7% to 192. 300 to 400,000 was down 26% to 231. 400 to 600,000 was down 15.6% to 179. 600 to a million was down 19.5% to a total of 62 homes listed for sale. And a million or more was down 25%, total of 9. And then if we look at total inventory, which is basically the number of homes for sale on the last day of the month, it's spread relatively evenly. So 150 to 200,000, there was a total of 104. The exception is 200 to 250,000, which there was only a total of 73 homes for sale in the greater Dayton Metro area. 250 to 300,000, there was 114. 300 to 400,000, there was 147. Doesn't really change from that like 100, 120, 140 number until you get up to 600 to a million. There was a total of 82, and then a million or more, there was a total of 27. So what exactly are we seeing in the market here? The trend of buyer demand coming back has continued. I would say that May's numbers are basically holding with April, so that trend is basically still here. The number of new listings dropping 27.1% compared to last year is a bit concerning. That's going to be something that if the number of new listings stays low like that compared to the number of closed sales, we could very well likely see inventory start to shrink again. But again, it's to me the market's kind of wobbling, trying to figure out what exactly it wants to do here. Obviously, interest rates are still high, but the sentiment with all the buyers I've been speaking to is they're basically just accepting that this is the new normal for the foreseeable future, but they still want to do positive life changes in their house. They want to buy a house, they want to move to a bigger house or a better neighborhood. A lot of buyers are basically willing to make that trade-off for higher interest rates for a better lifestyle and a better home that fits their needs. That said, to me, currently things could go either way. So if we get like a stretch of bad economic numbers, or if interest rates go up a little bit more, we're probably going to tip to the lower demand side. If the number of new listings stays low, we're probably going to tip towards the increasing home prices and shrinking inventory side of things. Median sales price is definitely up, so that's kind of where we're leaning towards currently, but it's not clear, it's not strong. It could very well be a wobble, and my hunch is that we're probably going to see another shift relatively soon. The problem is I can't see which way it's going to be because the numbers are all over the place. There's no clear overarching trend here other than prices have been going up a little bit. I wish I had a little bit better things to do, but I'm not going to get up here and just make wild predictions, make wild, unfounded predictions. I don't think that helps anybody. If we're looking at long-term perspectives, the truth is more than likely 10 years from now, houses are going to be significantly more expensive than they are today. That's just, you know, if you look at historic trends, that's how it usually works out. So far as like what's going to happen in the next 3-4 months, I would say this trend is probably going to hold. But if we're trying to figure out if end of 2023 prices are going to be lower than they are now, or even 2024 where things are going to be, there's no way to know based off of these numbers or statistics. I'm sorry. Currently, we are in a rising demand, home prices going up situation, but yeah, the numbers are not strongly in that favor to where I would say that this trend is going to continue for the next 6 months. So thank you so much for watching my Dayton real estate statistics. If you would like help finding a home or selling your home in the Dayton metro area, I'd be happy to help you out. I do cover Springfield, Troy, Tipp City, Springboro, Beavercreek, Spring Valley, Bellbrook, Sugar Creek Township, Washington Township, Oakwood, and of course Dayton. Just kind of the areas that I cover. I don't mind driving a little bit, so if you have a question about your particular neck of the woods, feel free to reach out and ask me, because these stats are for the greater Dayton area, and the truth is that there's always a little bit of difference and variation in the various neighborhoods. For example, Belmont, which is a neighborhood in Dayton, I do believe that medium term there is a lot of upside there. There's a lot of positive things going on there. They're revamping a lot of the commercial sections there, a lot of good activity there. So I think, you know, medium term, that's a very good neighborhood to look at when compared to, you know, the rest of the city there. So if you'd like help finding a home in the greater Dayton area, I'd be happy to help you out. If you were considering selling, still a phenomenal time to get peak prices because we are back to the June-July peaks. There should be a contact link below this video, either in the description or the comments or the webpage, wherever you found it at. Feel free to book a call there. I'll have a chat with you, go over the process that we use. I'd be happy to help you out. So once again, my name is Kyle Sasser. I'm with KW Advisors. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you soon.